Good afternoon and welcome to today's broadcast of University of St. Francis Fighting Saints Baseball. My name is Terry Bonadonna and I'm on the call today as St. Francis takes on Judson University in a CCAC showdown. The Saints looking for their 6th consecutive win, and they're out in the field right now warming up for the top of the first inning. So let's take a look at the starting lineups first. For the visitors from up north somewhere, the Judson Eagles. Leading off for Judson and playing second base is Adam Zertaski. Batting second, the designated hitter, Jared Corminga. Hitting third, right fielder, Josh Kruger. The first baseman batting cleanup is Matt Meyer. Hitting fifth at third base, Alec McLennan. The shortstop and number 6 hitter is Angel Torres. Playing center field, Dane Frederick. Batting 7th, J.J. Brennan, or 8th rather. J.J. Brennan is in left field. And batting 9th is the shortstop, Jake Kleekamp. The starting pitcher for today's Judson University Eagles is Evan LeBeau. For the Fighting Saints, it's Travis Schoonover leading off and playing right field. Batting second, shortstop Dustin Kroeb. Jake Lasota hits third, he's the DH. Anthony Farron plays first base. Batting fifth, third baseman Jonathan Wolf. Adam Cebulka gets the start behind the plate. Johnny Peterson bats 7th. Peterson plays second base. Sean Harper is in left field. And batting 9th, the center fielder, Bailey Schultz. The starting pitcher for St. Francis today and ready to go with his first pitch of the ball game is right-hander Michael Quirum. Quirum's first toss is swung on and missed for strike 1, and we're underway at 2:58 p.m. Central Daylight Time. 0-1 on the Judson leadoff man, their second baseman, Adam Zeratsky. He takes a ball, and the count evens up, 1-1. Judson comes into today's game with a record of 6-12. Like St. Francis, they're undefeated in conference, although a smaller sample size for the Eagles. Quirum misses outside, 2-1. They're just 1-0 in CCAC play. They really looked good in their CCAC opener last week. There's a swing and a fly to shallow left. Backing up onto the outfield grass is the shortstop Dustin Kroeb. Kroeb makes the catch, shielding his eyes from the sun in the process, and puts away Zeratsky for out number 1. It is a beautiful, sunny pre-spring day here in Joliet today. It's our last official day of winter. The equinox coming up tomorrow, and it's starting to feel spring-like in the Chicagoland area. Still a bit of a chill in the air, but with the sun out, I think the players down in the field are mighty comfortable as a breaking ball from Quirum drops into the zone for strike 1 on Jared Corminga. Corminga, big hitter for Judson lately, hitting .290 on the season. He's got a homer and 7 RBIs, off balance on that swing, and he's behind in the count 0-2. Corminga homered in a loss this past weekend. Judson has lost their last couple of games, despite coming in with that 1-0 conference record. Ball low and outside. Count now 1-2. They beat up Trinity last week by a 15-3 final score, and that was their only conference showing so far. 2 of the 3 unbeaten CCAC teams this year. Corminga takes in the dirt. The count is 2-2. The other one is Trinity Christian. Trinity International, by the way, the team that Judson beat, not Trinity Christian, who hasn't lost. Strike 3 called over the inside corner, 2 down. Good start for Michael Quirum, retiring the first 2 batters of the game. And that brings up Josh Kruger. Both Trinity Christian and Judson are 1-0. Just the start they wanted, but St. Francis is 5-0. So a cut above everybody else in the CCAC right now, although we're still very early. Many teams in the conference that the Saints have yet to see. Ball 1 outside on Josh Kruger. Kruger's a .371 hitter, tied for the team lead in batting. He's got 4 homers, 21 RBIs. Second on the team in both of those categories. Powerful cut, but a miss from Kruger. It's 1-1. Jared Ludwig, who is not in the lineup today for the first time all year, is their other star hitter, so Quirum catches a little break with Ludwig out. Strike called over the inside edge of the strike zone. It's 1-2. Michael Quirum is 1-3 this year with a 4.88 earned run average. He's making his 6th start of the season. There's a fly ball out to left field. It's well hit, but it's playable. Backing up and making the catch is Sean Harper. The inning is over. 1-2-3 go the Eagles in the first. Saints will come to bat for the first time when we return. Scoreless. No score after half an inning of play. St. Francis comes to bat for the first time with Travis Schoonover, Dustin Kroeb, and Jake Lasota. Farron, Wolf, Sabolka, Peterson, Harper, and Schultz make up the rest of the St. Francis lineup. And they're facing a tough right-hander for Judson. Yeah, he's been their best pitcher so far this year, Evan LeBeau, who winds up for the first toss. It's drilled into right field, a base hit for Schoonover. The throw comes into first base, not nearly in time. Kruger decided to take a chance there. The ball was hit so hard. It got on Kruger in a hurry on one hop. Figured he'd take a shot at retiring Schoonover on a force, but Schoonover, who ran through the bag, did have the throw beat by about 3 steps. So a leadoff base hit for the junior outfielder Travis Schoonover, who came into play today hitting .323. And that brings up Dustin Kroeb. 1 on, nobody out. Kroeb, the shortstop, fresh off a solid series at the plate over the weekend against Indiana South Bend. He takes ball 1. The count is 1-0. LeBeau this year in 4 starts has gone 24 innings. He's allowed 24 runs, 12 of them earned on 40 hits, 19 strikeouts, 8 walks. There's a swing and a hard ground ball right side and just out of the reach of a diving Adam Zaratsky. Back-to-back singles for St. Francis. Schoonover advances to second base. Kroeb is at first. 2 on, nobody out for Jake Lasota, the heart of the order coming up for St. Francis, and they've got to be happy with the way this game has started. LeBeau 1-3 with a .450 ERA so far this year. Leads the team in innings pitched. Second lowest ERA on the squad among those who have made 3 starts or more. Jake Lasota squares to bunt, pulls the bat back, and takes the ball outside. Lasota's a .286 hitter. He's got 5 runs batted in, a couple of extra base hits. They've both been doubles. Lasota starting for the 12th time in the team's 21st game. He swings and drills that ball into center field. Another base hit for the Fighting Saints. Schoonover around third base. The throw will come into the cutoff man. And Lasota's got himself an RBI single. Schoonover scores. Kroeb to third base. Lasota safe at first. It's a hit for Lasota. 3 straight hits. Misplay out in center field helps Schoonover score, and Kroeb to advance the extra 90 feet. So an error tacked on at the end of the play, but a hit for Lasota on a solid single. And very quickly, it's 1-0. Just 5 pitches have been thrown by Evan LeBeau. Here's Anthony Farron trying to extend the lead. He fouls the first pitch back for strike 1. Anthony Farron has hit .444 through the team's first 20 games, 18 of which he has appeared in. 2 home runs, 18 RBIs. He's been one of the most fearsome hitters in the CCAC so far this year. 0-1 count. He takes a ball inside. It's 1-1. The Saints have really started to hit. Not a whole lot of offense during their non-conference season, but they have raised their team batting average more than 40 points in the last week. That ball flipped down the right field line and cutting foul. 1-2, the count on Farron. LeBeau is ahead of a hitter for the first time today. And we'll see if he can put Farron away, because this is an out that he desperately needs. The game has begun with 3 solid singles in a row to put St. Francis ahead 1-0. It's 1-2 on Anthony Farron, who steps out of the box as LeBeau steps off the rubber. Both men up here ready to go now. LeBeau in his gray Judson uniform sets for the next offering, and Farron taps it back to the mound. The throw goes to second base, and it skips away. Coming in to score is Krob. Everybody is safe. It's 2-0 St. Francis. LeBeau initially looked Krob back to third base, wanting to make sure that he didn't have the opportunity to score. My initial thought after he looked the runner back to third was that his only play was going to be at first base. He decided to go to second instead. He was a little bit off balance because he had looked to third first and didn't get enough on the throw. It bounced in and was not handled. And so everybody was safe as the ball skipped away. It didn't get far, but it bounced up into the air at least enough to allow Krob to score as Jonathan Wolf stands in and takes ball 1 high. Lesota safe at second, and naturally no play on Farron at first base. The first 4 men have all reached for St. Francis today. It's 2-0 in the bottom of the first inning. There's a hard grounder right to the third baseman. McLennan picks it up, steps on third, and across the diamond. That's a double play. 5-4-3. Farron advances to second base on the play, but Lesota and Wolf are both retired on the grounder. 2 outs in the inning for Adam Cebulka. 5-3, excuse me. I think I said 5-4-3. There was no around the horn, just a step on third and then the throw across. So 5-3 double play. Cebulka will try to get the run in from second base. He swings and misses, strike 1. So maybe LeBeau is starting to get with it a little bit after a shaky start. 3 hits, 2 runs for the Saints so far in their first inning. 0-1. Cebulka swings and pops it up, shallow left center field. Brennan, Frederick both come in, and nobody makes the play. It drops off the leg of Dane Frederick. Farron scores, heading to second, Cebulka, and the Saints lead 3-0. It's a hit for Adam Cebulka and an RBI. I don't know if the sun got in Frederick or Brennan's eyes, or if there was some miscommunication out there, but it was a playable ball, and they let it drop. And now the Saints are really cooking. 3 runs are in the first inning. They continue their hot hitting after they scored 29 runs over 3 games this weekend against Indiana South Bend. In fact, they've now scored 5 runs or more coming into today in 5 consecutive games. As Johnny Peterson takes ball 1 outside. They're certainly on track to add to that stretch today and make it 6 consecutive games with 5 or more. Long way to go, but they've already got 3 runs, just 2 outs in. Fouled away, 1-1. 4 hits in the inning for St. Francis. Judson's also helped him out. 2 errors committed by the Eagles. 1 ball, 1 strike on John Peterson, 200 hitter for the year. Trying to get the run in from second base. Evan LeBeau sets and delivers. Fouled back. Count is 1-2. 2 of the 3 runs to score this inning have been earned against LeBeau, I believe. The errors came at kind of weird times. I have to go through again to make sure on that note. I think 2 of the runs are earned. 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. LeBeau strikes out Peterson to end the inning, but a big inning it was for St. Francis. 3 runs on 4 hits, 2 errors, 1 left. After 1 inning of play, St. Francis 3, Judson nothing. Michael Quirum went 1-2-3 in the first inning, and then his offense backed him up with 3 runs in the bottom of the first. So here we are now moving into the second. Quirum faces the middle of the Judson order and misses outside for ball 1 on Matt Meyer. Meyer's a .313 hitter with a homer and 3 RBIs. Left-handed hitting first baseman, swings and hits a grounder to second base. John Peterson up with it. He throws to first for out number 1. Long way to go in this game. Of course, a great start for St. Francis with 3 runs. One thing you could say about Judson, despite their record of just 6-12, the team can hit the ball. .268 team batting average. They score better than 6 runs per contest. So it's probably going to take more than 3 to beat them. At least it does in most cases. Saints are going to have to keep piling on. Well, they're going to try. Fouled back by Alec McLennan, the third baseman, for strike 1. McLennan, not among those scary hitters necessarily. .237 batting average, 4 RBIs. He does, however, have a .408 on-base percentage. Strike called, 0-2. Difference between the batting average and the on-base percentage comes because of his 9 walks taken in 14 games. Ground ball left side, charging is Krob, the shortstop. Gloves it, throws to first in time. Well, you can always negate a guy who draws a lot of walks by simply throwing strikes. That's what Quirum did. Got ahead of him 0-2. McLennan hits a slow ground out to short. 2 outs, 5 up, 5 down against Quirum so far. And here is Angel Torres. Michael Quirum, a local senior from Joliet Catholic, originally from Shorewood, Illinois. Off to a good start today. He takes a strike over the outside corner. I should say he paints the outside corner with a strike. Angel Torres is the one who took it. .302 hitter in 11 games. Torres has driven in 2 runs this year. He'll need to hit his first home run of the year if he wants an RBI in this at-bat. Fouled back, 0-2. Quirum just pounding the strike zone right now. He's thrown 7 pitches this inning and recorded 2 outs. 6 of the 7 pitches have been strikes. Trying to put away Torres here. The count is 0-2. Quirum, long pause atop the set motion, and now a ball downstairs, 1-2. Interesting delivery there from Michael Quirum. Pitching out of the stretch at all times. Kicked up his leg and held it for several seconds before finally coming home. Now a quick pitch, and it's fouled back by Torres. So Quirum is really working on deception of the hitter here by changing up his times to the plate. Not able to put away Torres yet after getting ahead of him 0-2. Count is 1-2. It's the 5th pitch of the at-bat, and it's a foul ball, so Torres will see a 6th. Quirum working on his 2nd consecutive 1-2-3 inning. He's 1 strike away from achieving just that. Right-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter. 2 outs, nobody on in the top of the 2nd inning. Torres flies it out to left field. Long run in for Sean Harper. Still coming. He dives and can't quite come up with it. It skips past him. Heading to second base is Angel Torres, and he pulls in with a double. Nice job by Jonathan Wolf, the third baseman, to back up the play. Sean Harper gave it all he could there. Racing in and stretching out as far as he could on the dive. And he came up just inches short. And one risk you always take when you dive after a ball is that if it gets past you, there may not be anyone there to back you up. And there was, in fact, no one there to back up Harper, so Jonathan Wolf had to race out from his third base position to track down the loose ball, and Wolf got there pretty quickly, holding Torres to 2 bases. A bloop double with 2 outs as the first base runner for Judson. And Dane Frederick bats in the 2nd inning with a chance at bringing home a run. Frederick takes a ball inside for a 1-0 count. Quirum gets the sign from Adam Cebulka and sets for the next offering. Frederick this time takes a strike to even the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dane Frederick, a .303 batter. 1 home run, 9 RBIs. He's starting for the 11th time this year out of his team's 19 games. And he takes the ball low and in the dirt. The count moves to 2-1. 3-0 St. Francis leads thanks to a big first inning. 4 singles and 2 errors contributed to the 3-run rally. Hard grounder, but right at the shortstop. Krob scoops it up. The throw to first is in time, and the inning is over. Quirum gets 3 groundouts in the second, gives up a hit, but leaves Torres at second base. We'll head to the bottom of inning number 2. 3-0, St. Francis has the lead. Three to nothing, St. Francis leads Judson. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Sean Harper leads things off against Evan LeBeau and takes the first pitch for ball 1. Harper getting the start out in left field today. Typically a pinch runner, defensive replacement for St. Francis. Gets a chance in the starting lineup and trying to work his way on base, but he taps it back to the pitcher's mound, and LeBeau throws him out at first base. 1-3 on the putout, 1 away in the second inning. That brings Bailey Schultz up. Schultz, the starting center fielder for the Fighting Saints. Steps into the batter's box today with a 182 batting average. All 8 of his hits, make that all 6 of his hits have been singles this year. 2 RBIs, and an 0-1 count here as he swings through the first pitch from LeBeau. First inning for St. Francis began with Schoonover, Krob, Lesota, and Farron, all reaching base consecutively. Fouled away by Schultz, and the count is 0-2. 5 of the first 6 men reached for the Fighting Saints in the first inning. But a big double play helped LeBeau get out of the inning and hold St. Francis to just 3 runs. Ball outside, 1-2. Not that any offense will complain about scoring 3 runs in an inning, but LeBeau made some big pitches to avoid what could have been a much bigger first inning disaster. Strike 3 called over the inside corner. Schultz didn't like it, but he is set down for out number 2. It's the second strikeout for LeBeau. First time he's gotten a Fighting Saint looking. Now we're back to the top of the order, and Travis Schoonover. Schoonover is 1 for 1, led off the game with a hard single to right field. He takes a ball inside. He eventually came around to score the game's first run. That was on a Jake Lesota base hit. That ball hit the other way into left center field. Another hit for Schoonover, and this one settles into the gap. Schoonover has got extra bases. Into second with a stand-up double. He's 2 for 2, and the Saints have a 2-out base runner. Solid offensive start continues for the Fighting Saints. 5 hits now, and we're not yet through 2 innings. Here's Dustin Krob. Chance to extend the lead here for Krob, who's got 6 runs batted in this year. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored. And he takes the first pitch for ball 1. St. Francis off to a strong start as they look for their 6th consecutive victory. Strike over the outside corner, 1-1. They've lost just once at home so far this year. They're 6-1 at Slammers Stadium. Their only loss was game 2 of a doubleheader back in late February. Ball outside, 2-1. I take that back. They lost both ends of that doubleheader, so they're 6-2 rather than 6-1 at home this year. Still a solid record. Just 3-9 away from their home ballpark on the season. Hitters count as LeBeau's 2-1 pitch comes in and is hit high and deep out to left field. That sends J.J. Brennan backpedaling. He pulls up in front of the warning track and makes the catch. The inning comes to an end. No runs, 1 hit. Travis Schoonover left at second base. We head to the third. 3-0 St. Francis. It's the top of the third inning, and the Fighting Saints of St. Francis have a 3-0 lead on the Eagles of Judson. J.J. Brennan, Jake Kleekamp, and then the top of the order for Judson will hit against Michael Queerum. Queerum has looked sharp so far. His first pitch is fouled back for strike one. 1 strikeout so far for the senior right-hander. No walks. He's allowed 1 hit, and nobody has scored off of him through the first 2 innings. He has had the benefit of pitching for the most part with the lead. Ball low and away, 1-1. I guess he's pitched half the time with the lead rather than for the most part. Didn't have it when he pitched the top of the first because his team hadn't batted yet. But the first time they did come up, they scored 3 times. There's a ground ball to short. Busy day so far for Dustin Kroeb, whose throw to first is perfect for out number 1. That's the 3rd assist for Kroeb in the first 7 outs. He's also got a put out on a pop fly back in the first inning. So he has been responsible for 4 of the 7 outs. And Michael Queerum is very grateful. Here's Jake Kleekamp. He fouls off the first pitch to the right side into the seats for strike 1. Kleekamp, the catcher, is batting .161 in 31 at-bats. That's 5 hits. He's knocked in 4 runs. He hits this ball high in the air, left side foul and out of play. Count is 0-2. Pretty much everybody up and down the Judson lineup, even those who have only played in a handful of games, has multiple RBIs. This is a team that scores a lot of runs. High fly, shallow center field. Drifting over to his left and making the catch is Bailey Schultz, 2 down. 8 out of the first 9 retired by Michael Queerum. Very impressive game for him thus far. But now he has to go through the order a second time. We'll see if they've caught up to him at all. It's Adam Zaratsky's turn to hit. Judson this season has scored 34 more runs than St. Francis has. That despite the fact that they've played 2 fewer games than the Fighting Saints. Ball 1 outside on Zaratsky, who popped out to short his first time up. And also, St. Francis has a better record than Judson. They've got 3 more victories. But again, they've scored 34 fewer runs. Just gives you an idea of how good Judson's offense has been. A bunt and a miss from Zaratsky. The count is 1-1. Problem with the Eagles this season, and the reason their record isn't better than 6-12, is their cumulative ERA of 7.85. That's not going to do it for you. Hard liner right side and just over the glove of John Peterson into right field. A base hit for Zaratsky, 2nd hit of the game for Judson. Fortunately for St. Francis, both of their hits have come with 2 outs and nobody on. So far, no real damage done on that contact. That was a hard hit ball by Zaratsky. His counterpart at second base nearly made the catch. If John Peterson were about an inch or two taller than he is, he probably would have made that play. But it was just over his glove. Peterson listed at 5'8". I think at 5'10" he would have caught the ball. Fly ball out to center field, hit by Jared Krominga. It's playable for Bailey Schultz, and he does make the catch. The inning is over, so the single extends it by only 1 pitch, and we've played 2.5 innings. Judson not on the board yet. Saints lead 3-0. Jake Lasota, Anthony Farron, and Jonathan Wolf, a very solid 3, 4, and 5 are due up for St. Francis in the bottom of the 3rd inning, looking to add to a 3-run lead. Jake Lasota takes strike 1 from Evan LeBeau. Saints scored 3 in the 1st inning. LeBeau has settled in pretty nicely, though. He's retired 4 of the last 5 batters he's faced, as he gets Lasota to swing and miss for a 0-2 count. 5 of the first 6 reached, and since then 4 of 5 have been retired. Trying to retire Lasota on an 0-2 offering, but Lasota doesn't bite as he takes just off the outside corner. It's 1-2. Big hole up the middle right now for Lasota as the middle infielders move over towards the lines. Ball outside, 2-2. It's an even count. Lasota singled in the 1st inning. He's 1 for 1. He did not score in that 3-run rally. He was eventually erased as part of a double play. This time he foul tips the pitch and just off the glove of Jake Kleekamp, who cannot complete the strikeout by hanging on. Lasota got just enough of that ball to prevent the catcher from making the play on it. So he's still alive. Another 2-2 pitch coming presently. Lasota grounds it to the shortstop. Coming in and making the play is Angel Torres. He throws to first in time. 1 out. So make it 5 of 6 retired by LeBeau, who's now faced 12 batters, and it's been a tale of 2 halves so far among these 12 batters. 5 of the first 6 reached base, and 5 of the next 6 were retired. Here's Anthony Farron. He scored a run in the 1st inning, this time a 1-hopper just out of the reach of Angel Torres. Farron is on base for the 2nd time today as he takes a hard turn around first base. Holds where he is with a single. Farron had reached on an error in the 1st inning and nearly was erased by shortstop Angel Torres right there on a hard hit 1-hopper. Torres didn't quite have time to get in front of the ball, so he tried to swipe at it and just missed. Runner on first, 1 out. It's Jonathan Wolf's turn. Wolf takes ball 1. He's 0 for 1, grounded into a 5-3 double play in the 1st inning. Wolf had some good success over the weekend against IUSB. Had a big hit in the 18-1 win on Friday night. In that game, he came up with a grand slam that put St. Francis ahead for good. Had a couple of RBIs on Saturday as well. He's ahead in this count, 2-0. 2-1 now. Jonathan Wolf is batting only .195 this year, but he does have 8 RBIs. 1 double, 1 home run. Very short lead at first base for Anthony Farron. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2. On deck is Adam Cebulka. Barring a double play, he'll get a chance against LeBeau here in the third. 3-0, St. Francis leads. They've out-hit Judson so far, 6-2. Ground ball left side, softly hit, picked up by the third baseman McLennan. He throws to second for the force. That's all they'll manage on a slowly hit ball. No opportunity to turn two. Wolf is safe at first on the fielder's choice. It goes 5-4 as Farron is put out. Second chance up now for Adam Cebulka. Cebulka's 1 for 1 with an RBI double. It was a high pop fly to left center field that he hit. Dane Frederick and J.J. Brennan came in on the ball, and neither one could make the play. And so Cebulka got credit with the hit and the run knocked in. Of those 3 runs in the first inning, by the way, only one of them was earned. Hard one hopper right at the third baseman. McLennan gobbles it up and throws to first. The inning is over. So that means so far today, as the third inning comes to a close, it's been a pretty solid performance from Evan LeBeau. 3 innings, 1 earned run allowed, but he finds himself trailing by 3 as the Saints take the field, up 3-0 going to the fourth. Three to nothing St. Francis as we start the fourth inning of play. Josh Kruger leads things off for the Eagles and pops the first pitch foul to the left side. Will it stay in play for Wolf? Looks like it will. Third baseman Jonathan Wolf makes the grab on the warning track along the left field sideline. And there's one pitch, one out in the top of the fourth inning. Michael Queerum mowing him down so far. He's allowed 2 hits, but both of them have been 2 out base hits for Judson and have not led to anything. Matt Meyer now bats for the second time. 0 for 1 with a ground out to second base. Back in the second inning. Meyer fouls away the first pitch for strike 1. This is a one-shot deal here today. St. Francis against Judson in Joliet. These two teams will meet up again later in the year at Judson. They'll play 2 games there. Fly ball into center field hit by Meyer, and Bailey Schultz is on to make the grab. 2 down. A lot of the time you'll see these 3-game series play out. 1 game at one location and then 2 at the other. In this case, rather than do it as a series, we've got the 1-gamer here and then the 2 against Judson at Judson next month. Swung on and popped up by Alec McLennan behind home plate and out of play. Strike 1 on McLennan. 0 for 1 with a ground out to short. 2 outs in the top of the fourth inning so far. In all 4 innings today, Michael Queerum has retired the first 2 batters, and it's awfully difficult for an offense to mount any kind of rally if they're playing already with 2 outs in the inning. Ball 1, the count is even. Everyone is capable from time to time of pulling off a big 2-out rally, but you're really starting from behind if you're in the hole before you get any base runners. Strike called over the outside corner. 1-2. Quirum is 1 strike away from ending the inning. For as good as he's been so far, Quirum only has 1 strikeout, and that hasn't been a bad thing. He's gotten quicker outs. Keep him fresh for the later innings if he can keep it up. Fouled away by McLennan. The count remains 1-2. Angel Torres is in the on-deck circle. Torres has 1 of the 2 Judson hits today. Quirum would rather see him leading off the 5th inning. The count is 1-2. There's a swing and a pop-up on the infield. It should end the inning. Both men on the right side have a claim to it, but it's the second baseman Peterson who ends up with the grab to end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Eagles in the 4th. We head to the bottom of the frame. 3-0 St. Francis. John Peterson gets the first crack at Evan LeBeau in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And Peterson takes ball 1 high. He's 0 for 1 today. Struck out swinging to end the 1st inning. 1 of 2 strikeouts for LeBeau through 3. LeBeau hasn't been bad, but he finds himself behind on the scoreboard 3-0. Ball low, 2-0. Of the 3 first inning runs, only 1 of them was earned. Though he was hit pretty hard. Peterson doesn't hit this one very hard. A high pop-up on the infield in foul territory. It's the catcher Kleekamp making the grab. 1 away. There were 4 hits in the first inning. 3 of them were solid singles. 1 of them a bloop double. But ever since 5 of the first 6 men reached base safely for the Fighting Saints, they've had only 2 base runners since then. Here's Sean Harper, 0 for 1 with a ground out. Harper takes a strike. Harper tapped out to the pitcher's mound his first time up. This time he ropes one down the left field line. If it stays fair, it's trouble for Judson, and it does not. Just barely foul, inches away from the line, if that. Harper falls behind in the count 0-2, and a frustrating strike for a guy who has not really gotten consistent at-bats early in the year. 30 at-bats total through 20 games this season. He's hitting 133 and is trying to get into a rhythm at the plate. And he just put a really good swing on that last pitch, but he yanked it foul by a matter of inches. And now he takes strike 3, and he's out number 2. So a frustrating at-bat for Sean Harper, who thought he had extra bases, turns into a strikeout instead. And it brings up Bailey Schultz with 2 outs and nobody on, as Evan LeBeau looks for his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. Schultz struck out looking his first time up. 1 of 3 strikeouts now for LeBeau. He takes ball 1 outside. Schultz, a junior transfer from South Suburban, takes ball 2. Low batting average for Schultz, but he's second on the team with 10 walks. Only Travis Schoonover has drawn more free passes. Strike one called. Schultz, a very selective hitter. Even in at-bats where he doesn't walk, he finds himself in the batter's box for a while. He sees a lot of pitches. He flies this ball out to left field. That's deep. Tough play for J.J. Brennan going back to the warning track, but he just does have room to make the catch. He loses his hat on the warning track, but finds the ball, and the Saints just missed a big inning. But they end up going down 1-2-3. Harper missed a double by inches on a foul ball, and Schultz just missed a homer by the matter of a couple of feet. And it ends up being a perfect inning for Evan LeBeau as we head to the fifth. 3-0, St. Francis. Three to nothing St. Francis as we mosey our way into the fifth inning. Angel Torres leads off for Judson, pops up the first pitch, foul to the right side, and finds the seats for strike one. Torres is 1 for 1 with a double in today's game, the only extra base hit for Judson. One of only 2 hits they've got overall through 4 innings. 4 consecutive have been retired by Quirum. He has set down 12 of 14 batters in the game. Torres is one of the few, though, that he was not able to get. In fact, he's the only man that he hasn't got at some point today. The other guy to reach base was Adam Zaratsky. There's a ground ball down the third base line and just foul. 0-2 on Torres, who nearly had himself another double. Hard to tell from this angle whether that ball had gone over the base or not. But the home plate umpire threw up his hands to indicate foul ball. And so each side has one in the last inning. Sean Harper just missed an extra base hit by inches, and now Torres does the same. He fights one foul to the right side, still 0-2. Angel Torres has put together some good at-bats today. Fouled off a couple of 2-strike pitches before doubling back in the second inning. And now after falling behind quickly again here, he keeps the at-bat alive with a foul ball and another chance to put one in play. But he can't. Swing and a miss. One away. Quirum's got his second strikeout of the ball game. He's retired 5 in a row. And Dane Frederick is the batter. Leadoff man has been retired in every inning so far. Dane Frederick was retired to end the second inning on a ground out to the shortstop. This time he takes ball 1. First miss of the strike zone this inning from Michael Quirum. Next toss in there for strike 1. Count is even. This today is game number 6 out of 12 in a row at home for the Fighting Saints. Called strike over the outside corner, 1-2. They won the first 5, a doubleheader against Calumet St. Joseph, and then 3 in a row against Indiana South Bend. Single games today against Judson and Thursday against Purdue Northwest, and then a big 3-game weekend series against Grandview. Ball in the dirt, 2-2. So after today, the next 4 games are all out of conference before they resume conference play a week from tomorrow with a doubleheader against St. Ambrose. Strike three called over the outside corner. Dane Frederick goes down looking. 2 outs in the 5th inning. 3 strikeouts now for Quirum. He's been on fire today. Here's J.J. Brennan. Michael Quirum coming into play today in 31 1/3 innings. Had 28 strikeouts, only 6 walks. He had allowed 43 hits. Ball 1 inside on J.J. Brennan. So he's kept right around his strikeout average, 3 of them in 4 2/3 innings. He's a little bit under a strikeout per inning for the year. Ground ball down the third base line, that's foul, and it evens the count at 1. True to form today, he's been very good with his command. He has not gone to 3 balls on any hitter in the game so far. Again, just 6 walks in 31 1/3 innings coming in, and that's now 6 walks in 36 innings for the season. 1 every 6 innings pitched, and that's it. 1-1. Breaking ball misses, ball 2. He'll allow you to put it in play, and he's done that today. Not a lot of hard contact, though, by Judson, as they've managed just 2 hits through 4 2/3. Ball low and outside. 3 balls and 1 strike on J.J. Brennan. The cynical person might say that I just jinxed Michael Quirum. Strike called over the outside corner, 3-2. He still hasn't walked anybody, but right after I said he hadn't gone to 3 balls on any hitter, he goes to 3 balls on a hitter for the first time. Full count pitch coming to Brennan. Fouled back off the screen. Still 3-2. Brennan, who grounded out his first time up today, is hitting .079 on the season. He's 3 for 38. He has walked 5 times. He pops this ball up, shallow center field. Backing up is the second baseman Peterson, and he makes the catch to end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Eagles in the top of the 5th. We're halfway through this ball game. Neither side has scored since the first. Overall, it's 3-0, St. Francis. (3-0) St. Francis in the bottom of the 5th inning. Top of the order for the Fighting Saints. Travis Schoonover takes ball 1 high. Great start to the ball game for Schoonover. He's 2 for 2 with a single and a double. However, Evan LeBeau has settled in nicely over the last few innings. Trying to retire Travis for the first time today. He gets a foul ball to the right side to even the count 1-1. Schoonover, the only Fighting Saint to have started every game so far this year. 21 for 21. 3rd on the team in hitting coming in. Ground ball to the right side. Moving to his left and gloving that ball is the second baseman Adam Zaratsky. He throws out Schoonover in just enough time for out number 1. 6 in a row have been retired by LeBeau. He's gotten 8 of the last 9 batters. And Dustin Kroeb will try to end that stretch as he bats for the 3rd time today. Kroeb is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored in the 1st inning. He flew out to left field to end the 2nd. LeBeau winds up and delivers a ball low, 1-0. Evan LeBeau allowed 3 runs on 4 hits in the 1st inning. Only 1 of the 3 runs was earned. Called strike, 1-1. Still, he had some trouble in the first inning. Even the unearned runs he had a hand in, he committed one of the 2 errors. Ball outside, 2-1. Since the first inning, he has allowed 0 runs, earned or otherwise, on only 2 hits in 3 1/3 innings. There's a tapper right back to the pitcher. LeBeau gloves it on 2 hops, flips underhand to first base, and retires Krob. 2 up, 2 down in the 5th, and now he'll bid for his 2nd consecutive 1-2-3 inning. 7 in a row retired by Evan LeBeau. Jake Lasota is the hitter, 1 for 2 with a single. He's also grounded out. Hard grounder, but right at the third baseman. Alec McLennan has it, throws to first. 1 pitch to end the inning as Jake Lasota grounds out 5-3. 1-2-3 go the Fighting Saints in the 5th. 8 in a row set down by LeBeau, and we're more than halfway through this game. I think it's safe to say we've got a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel brewing. 3-0, St. Francis leads. We're through 5 innings. It's 3-0 St. Francis, and Michael Quirum comes back out on the field to pitch the 6th. His first toss to Jake Kleekamp is crushed out to left field, but it's playable. Sean Harper backs up and makes the grab, and it's another quick out for Quirum, 1 away in the 6th inning. That was maybe the hardest hit ball we've seen today from Judson, certainly one of the hardest hit balls, but it was no problem at all for Harper as Kleekamp hit it on a line right to the left fielder's general vicinity. He trotted after it fairly casually and made the grab with no problem. Back to the top of the order, it's Adam Zaratsky. Zaratsky takes ball 1, or strike 1, sorry. 0-1 on Zaratsky, who's 1 for 2 with a single. One of only 2 hits in the game today for Judson. In fact, he's the last man to reach base with his 2-out single in the 3rd. This time he grounds it over to second base. Peterson throws it to first, 2 down. Quirum has set down 9 in a row now. Zaratsky's 2-out single in the 3rd, the last base runner for Judson. There are only 2 base runners in the game with that 2-out single in the 3rd inning, and Angel Torres' 2-out double in the 2nd inning. Other than that, they have been held completely at bay. Ball 1 on Jared Krominga. Krominga 0 for 2. He struck out looking in the 1st inning. Flew out to center field to end the 3rd. Off-balance swing from Krominga there. It's 1-1. He was way out in front of an off-speed pitch. Nearly fell to his knees on the strength of that swing. But way out in front. Fastball outside. 2-1. It's a rarity for Quirum to ever be behind in the count. He's been pumping in strikes all game, getting ahead of hitters and getting quick outs. Ground ball down the third base line, foul, and just like that, back to being a pitcher's count. It's 2-2. 9 straight set down by Quirum. He's only allowed one runner into scoring position, only 2 runners total, and he's 1 strike away from his 3rd consecutive 1-2-3 inning and his 4th perfect inning of the game. And he may have that strike on a check swing. He did go around. On the appeal down to first base, Cromingo went too far. It's a 1-2-3 inning. It's the 4th strikeout for Michael Quirum, and it's 10 straight retired. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 3-0 St. Francis. Anthony Farron leads off the bottom of the 6th for St. Francis and swings the first pitch, fouling it down the third base line for strike 1. 3-0, the Saints lead. All 3 runs scored in the first inning. They had 4 hits that inning, including an RBI double from Adam Cibulka. They also got base hits from Schoonover, Krob, and Lasota. Farron reached on an error. In fact, Farron's the only guy who's not been retired in this game. And it looks like that's going to continue as he strokes one down the left field line for a base hit. It rolls into the corner as Farron heads to second base, a leadoff double. J.J. Brennan went down into the corner to field that ball. There was a slight bobble. I don't think it impacted the play dramatically. It looked like Farron was going to make it to second base regardless, but it allowed him to make it in a little bit easier. He was able to trot casually into second base. First base runner we've seen for either team in a while. Neither side had a runner since the 3rd inning. In fact, the last guy to reach base in this game had been Anthony Farron. And now he's 2 for 3, having reached on an error. He's been on base all 3 times. As Jonathan Wolf stands in and flies one out to deep center field. Backing up is Frederick. Frederick can't reach it. It's over his head and one hops the wall. Jonathan Wolf into second with a double. Farron holds at third. Anthony Farron thought that ball was going to be caught in center field. He started to make his way back to second and was not able to recover well enough to get home on the play as it went over the head of Dane Frederick. So that cost Jonathan Wolf an RBI, but still a very good situation here for the Fighting Saints, who have runners at second and third and nobody out for Adam Cibulka as they try to break this game open. Back-to-back doubles lead off the 6th for St. Francis. Cibulka hits it high in the air, shallow center field. Not deep enough to score the run from third as the second baseman Adam Zaratsky backs up and puts it away. So we've seen 4 pitches this inning, and already 3 batters have come up and finished up. 2 doubles, a pop-up, and that's that. John Peterson will bat with 2 on, 1 out. Saints don't need a hit necessarily here. A fly ball would do. A ground ball would do. The infield's playing back all around. First baseman Matt Meyer is just about a step behind the bag. Everybody else normal depth. Foul back off the screen. Strike 1 on Peterson, who has struck out and popped out today. 0 for 2. Those are the only 2 things the Saints don't want to see right here, a strikeout or a pop out. A hit certainly would get a run in, a fly ball, and most likely a ground ball would score Anthony Farron from third base. Ball low and away, 1-1. Just past 4 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone. The sun's still shining above our beautiful ballpark. Artificial turf here in Joliet. Second year of the artificial turf's existence at Slammer Stadium. Used to be natural grass, and the new turf has helped out the Fighting Saints considerably. Swing and a foul tip. It's 1-2. Not necessarily in terms of the way the game is played, but just in the way that they're able to play the games. Early season baseball is always a tough sell in the Midwest with cold weather abounding, still sometimes snow on the ground, freezing rain at times, and none of that really matters when you have artificial turf. It matters to the players, but it's not enough to cancel a game. So they've been able to get pretty much all of them in so far. Fly ball down the right field line, slicing into foul territory, and it lands on the lawn. Down the right field line, out of play. Still 1-2 on Peterson. Farron led off the inning with a hard double down the left field line. Wolf followed that up with another double to straightaway center field. Farron misread the ball and wasn't able to score on the play, but he did make it to third. So they're at second and third right now with one out. It's 1-2 on Peterson. He hits a ground ball up the middle off the pitcher's mound. Farron scores as the ball gets out to center field. Wolf comes in to score as well. It's 5-0 St. Francis on Johnny Peterson's two-run base hit. A ground ball off the pitcher's mound. If Angel Torres had been able to get there and cut it off, I don't think he would have had an out at first base because it wasn't hit very hard. But he could have at least prevented Wolf from scoring. But as soon as it got by Torres and out to center, that guaranteed that 2 runs would come in on the play. And the Saints have added 2 big insurance runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. There's Sean Harper dropping a bunt down the third baseline and pulling it foul for strike 1. The bats went very quiet after the first inning, but they have come back to life here in the 6th. 2 runs on 3 hits, and the way that Michael Queeram is pitching, 3 runs seemed like a big mountain to climb for Judson. 5 is Mount Everest. Doesn't mean it can't be done, but Judson's going to need a big effort these final 3 innings against a St. Francis hurler who has been very much on his game. Pickoff throw to first. Peterson dives back in safely. John Peterson this year has 1 stolen base. He's got 5 RBIs, 2 of them on his last swing. Ball low and in. 1-1 the count on Harper, the number 8 hitter for St. Francis. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. He's grounded out to the pitcher and struck out looking. One of 3 strikeouts in the game so far for Evan LeBeau. Runner goes on 1-1. Harper swings away and fouls it back out of play. Into the seats. It's 1-2. LeBeau could use a ground ball right here as he tries to get out of the inning, but he'd go for a strikeout if he can get it. 1-2 on Harper. Line drive to the right side and off the glove of the second baseman Zaratsky. It ricochets into right center. Peterson around second, heading for third. It's a base hit for Sean Harper, and they're at the corners with only 1 down. The offensive parade moves on for the Fighting Saints. 4 hits in the inning. They had 4 hits in the first inning. They've got 4 here in the 6th. From the 2nd to the 5th, they managed only 2 total. And that one a bitter pill to swallow for Judson because it was nearly a double play. On a hard hit line drive to the second baseman, if Zaratsky had caught it, he could have thrown back to first and most likely doubled up John Peterson. But instead, it just ticked off the edge of his glove, couldn't get it up quite fast enough. And it becomes a base hit with runners at the corners. They say that baseball's a game of inches. Hard to disagree when you see a play like that. Bailey Schultz takes a strike. We could be setting up for the top of the 7th inning right now. Instead, Evan LeBeau is in as much trouble as he's been in all game as the Saints look to really run away and start to hide. Up 3-0 coming into the inning. In fact, they'd been up 3-0 since the first. And now it's 5-0, and they're threatening for a lot more. Throw over to first base. Back in safely is Harper. Sean Harper, one of the speedier base runners on the team. He's 1 for 2 in his stolen base attempts this year. Bailey Schultz has struck out and flown out. He's 0 for 2, getting his 3rd chance at bat today. Schultz chops it down the third base line. That's a foul ball, and the count is 0-2. 10 hits now for St. Francis to only 2 for Judson. The Eagles have also committed 2 errors. The Saints haven't committed any, so a lot more base runners for St. Francis today. Neither side has drawn a walk. I think that speaks to the strength of the pitching we've seen in today's game more than anything else. We have seen some strong pitching, and you might not know it from the Judson side, considering they've allowed 5 runs in 5 1/3 innings, but more often than not, LeBeau's been very good today. Check swing from Schultz. He went around, according to the home plate umpire. Schultz says no way. Brian Mahalik says the same thing in as many words, demanding an appeal. They're not going to get the appeal. The home plate umpire called it himself. It was a close call for the home plate man to make. Usually you would see an appeal there, but apparently he thought he saw it pretty clearly that Schultz had gone around. I'm not so sure myself, but it's hard to tell from up here. He is the second out of the inning, and Travis Schoonover bats with Peterson at third, Harper at first, and 2 down, with St. Francis ahead by 5 runs. Schoonover swings the first pitch and bounces it foul to the right side for strike 1. Travis Schoonover's had a nice day at the plate. A single, a double, a run scored. He's 2 for 3. Fouls this one to the left side. 0-2 the count. LeBeau 1 strike away from getting out of the 6th inning. It's been a tough 6th for him so far. He's allowed 4 hits, including a pair of doubles. But he's trying to limit the damage to 2 runs, which is what it's at right now. Saints were threatening with a man at third and 1 out to get more. Harper takes off from first base, and he steals second standing up as Kleekamp decides not to make a throw. With a runner over at third base, he didn't want to risk it. They let Harper have the bag. 2 in scoring position now with a 1-2 count on Schoonover. Base hit now would score 2 almost certainly. Ground ball up the middle, ranging to his right. Zaratsky. He circles, gloves, throws, and a nice pick at first base by Matt Meyer gets the out. Great play at first by Meyer. Good play by Zaratsky at second as well. But that ball was in the dirt, and that's one time where the turf helped out the other team. True bounces always on throws in the dirt on this artificial surface, and Meyer makes the nice pick to end the inning. That would have been at least 1 run had he not been able to save that ball. But 2 runs do score in the 6th on 4 hits. They leave 2. 3 innings still to play here at St. Francis, and the home team leads 5-0. It's the top of the 7th inning. So far, this one has been all Saints. They lead 5-0. Judson trying to get on the board against Michael Queerum, who has not allowed a base runner since the 3rd inning. He's set down the last 10 men that he's faced, but he'll have a tough trio to get through in the 7th. Starting with Josh Kruger, who fouls off the first pitch to the left side for strike 1. 5-0 St. Francis. They scored 3 runs in the 1st inning and added 2 more in the 6th. Kruger is 0 for 2 for his part with a fly out and a pop out, and now a sharp liner to the left side that turns into a base hit. Nice effort from Dustin Kroeb, just couldn't quite reach it. A leadoff single for Judson, and for the first time today, they've got a man on base with less than 2 outs. But also for the first time today, they bat trailing by more than 3 runs. So it's going to take a big effort the rest of the way. They need a lot more hits like the one Kruger just acquired. Here's Matt Meyer. Meyer takes a breaking ball over the inside corner for strike 1. He's 0 for 2 in the game. Grounded out to second and flown out to center. Ball low, 1-1. Quirum would like to erase that base runner. He hasn't had to deal with too many of them today. And so his frustration will probably lead him to try to get a ground ball. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Got a lot of ground ball outs early in the game, 5 total, but only 1 over the last 3 innings. There's a tapper on the ground, but foul to the right side. The count is 1-2. Matt Meyer, a .313 hitter this year. Reaches base nearly 49% of the time. .488 on base percentage coming in. But he's been retired 3 times today as he takes strike 3 over the inside corner. He walks back to the dugout frustrated. I think he thought that ball was inside. Stands pretty close to the plate. And if that was indeed what he was upset about, it was, as far as inside-outside goes, about the same location as the first pitch of the sequence, which was also called a strike. It's the 4th strikeout of the game for Mike Quirum, and it brings up Alec McLennan. McLennan checks his swing on the first pitch. He did not go around. Ball 1. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a pop out. Josh Kruger at first base. His leadoff single snapped a string of 10 straight retired by Quirum. There's a power hack from McLennan. Can't connect. The count is 1-1. McLennan does not have a home run yet this year. Doesn't have the frame of a guy you'd think would be a big home run hitter. 5'8", 166. I think that last swing, though, was as powerful as it gets from the third baseman. Ball outside, 2-1. Quirum's been pitching from ahead in the count pretty much all game. It's been a rarity for a hitter to see a count of 2-1, 2-0, even 1-0. Hard one hopper to the shortstop and out of the reach of Dustin Kroeb and out to left field. Second single of the inning for Judson as Kruger advances to second base. And it speaks to how well Quirum has done today that this is by far the best offensive inning of the game for Judson already, even if they don't get anything more. First and second, 1 out. Angel Torres in the batter's box. Quirum thankful he added a couple of runs, or his offense added a couple of runs of insurance last inning. Those two are looming large right now, otherwise the tying run would be at the plate. As Torres takes a breaker for strike 1. Angel Torres doubled in the second inning. He's 1 for 2 with a strikeout. The 0-1 pitch misses outside for a ball, 1-1. No runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for the Judsons. 5-10-0 for the Fighting Saints. Swing and a miss and an off-speed pitch. The count is 1-2. Quirum pitching from ahead again right here. He's had a relatively stress-free day. This is only the second time all game there's been a man in scoring position. Time called by Torres before the 1-2 pitch. So he should be pretty much fresh here in the 7th inning, despite the fact he's been out there for 6 1/3. 1-2. Hit in the air on the infield. A high pop-up. Playable for the second baseman Peterson, who makes the catch. Infield fly rule was on there. Peterson caught it anyway. Second out of the inning. And Dane Frederick is the batter. Frederick, a tough out near the bottom of the lineup. But Quirum has pulled off that tough task twice already today. Got him to ground out to short in the second inning. He struck him out looking in the 5th. 2 on base now with 2 outs. Quirum trying to keep his shutout intact as Frederick takes strike 1. Josh Kruger singled. 2 batters later, Alec McLennan singled. They are at second and first respectively. 5-0, St. Francis leads in the top of the 7th inning. Frederick takes a ball low and outside. 1-1. If Frederick reaches, J.J. Brennan bats next. If not, we move into the stretch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ground ball to second base. John Peterson up with it. He throws to first in time to end the inning. Despite allowing 2 hits for the first time all game, Michael Quirum pitches around the jam and has another 0 on the scoreboard. That's 7 of them for the senior right-hander. It is stretch time here in Joliet. The Fighting Saints lead the Eagles 5-0. Five 0 St. Francis, bottom of the 7th. Dustin Kroeb swings the first pitch of the inning and shoots it foul to the left side for strike 1. Saints scored 3 in the first. They've led the whole way. Added 2 big insurance runs in the 6th. They could use a few more runs for good measure here in the 7th inning, with Kroeb, Lasota, and Farron due up against Evan LeBeau. Chopper hit by Kroeb to the third baseman. McLennan has it. Throw to first is in the dirt, and another nice pick by Matt Meyer. He has been impressive over there at first base today, especially the last couple of outs. Leadoff man retired in the 7th. That brings up Jake Lasota. Evan LeBeau was the starter for Judson, still on the mound. Nobody has begun to warm up at any point down the right field line for Judson. LeBeau has 1 complete game among his 4 starts this year as Lasota bloops it out to left field, a base hit. Second hit of the ball game for Lasota. Runner on with 1 out in the 7th for Anthony Farron. I was about to say LeBeau has been a little bit better, I think, the numbers would suggest in today's game. And that is even further true after that last hit. A softly hit ball, but it found the right spot out in left field. It's the 11th hit of the game for St. Francis. Fighting Saints have now scored at least 5 runs in 6 straight games. They're 5-0 in the previous 5, and they're looking good to improve to 6-0 here, as they need to get just 6 more outs out of Michael Quirum, or some combination of Quirum and the bullpen, or just the bullpen. Farron chases 1 outside for strike 1. Anthony Farron has not been retired today. He has singled, doubled, and reached down an error. He's 2 for 3 officially, with 2 runs scored. It's 8 runs scored this year now for Anthony Farron. Leads the team in most offensive categories. That's one that he doesn't. And it's because he's been the primary run producer. Ball downstairs. Count is 1-1. Guys who get on base in front of him score a lot because he's the one coming up with the big hits. But when he's on base, the second half of the order hasn't been quite as reliable in getting him in. He also gets pinch run for it from time to time, so that contributes to why he hasn't scored as often as you would think for a guy who entered play with a .538 on base percentage. Sorry, .508 on base percentage. That number has gone up so far today. Another pickoff throw to first, keeping a very close eye on the base runner right now. LeBeau has succeeded in chasing Lasota back to the bag a number of times, but hasn't been able to pick him off. Farron pops it up shallow right field. Josh Kruger is under it. Kruger makes the catch, and for the first time today, Anthony Farron is retired. 2 outs in the 7th. Jonathan Wolf is St. Francis's last chance for offense this inning. Wolf doubled and scored as part of the big 2-run 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. 3 runs in the first, 2 in the 6th. That's the offensive breakdown for the Saints today. Chopper down the third base line. It's foul. 0-1 on Wolf. Not much scoring to keep track of for Judson. Zeros in every inning. It's about as succinct as I can be, I think. The 0-1. Ground ball to the left side again. This time it's in fair territory as McLennan scoops it up and throws to first. Another good stretch by Matt Meyer to end the inning. A 1-out single from Jake Lasota is wasted as nobody scores for St. Francis in the 7th. But as we head to the 8th with just 2 innings to play, they've still got a healthy lead. It's 5-0. Judson has just 6 outs to work with, trailing 5-0 against the host Fighting Saints of St. Francis. J.J. Brennan leads off the top of the 8th and takes ball 1. Brennan is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a pop out. The left fielder has struggled at the plate this year, but this time he grounds one inside the third base line for a base hit. Brennan around first base, chugging into second. The throw comes in, not in time. Brennan slides in with a double. Second extra base hit of the game for Judson. It's their 5th hit total. Second time in as many innings they've gotten their leadoff man on. Last time around they stranded him at second. Let's see if Quirum can pull the old escape act again. He'll face Jake Kleekamp. Kleekamp is 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts. He takes ball 1. Jake Kleekamp is a 161 hitter. Part-time catcher, starting his 10th game of the season. He takes a ball. The count is 2-0. Michael Quirum has gone 7+ innings. He's thrown 1 complete game among his 5 starts this year. Called strike, 2-1. Mentioned before that the Judson starter has not been pressured to come out of the game at all at any point, despite allowing 5 runs on 11 hits through 7 innings. Nobody's warming up in the bullpen. Nobody has at any point. There's a pop-up behind home plate and out of play right in front of me here. Count is 2-2. St. Francis bullpen does have some guys stirring. Nobody is throwing at the moment. Quirum has really not given Brian Mahalik any reason to think about taking him out so far. Ball off the inside corner. The count goes full. No walks in the game so far, but he has gone to 3 balls now on Kleekamp. Just the second hitter he has thrown 3 balls to all game. Payoff pitch. Swung on and flown into left field. Sean Harper tracks it back, and Harper gets there to make the catch. 1 out. Harper plays a very smooth left field on balls that are hit pretty well. He shows no panic at all, just locates it, gets on the right path, and puts it away. Here's Adam Zaratsky. Zaratsky, the leadoff batter, is 1 for 3 with a 3rd inning single. He takes first pitch strike. Zaratsky, who uses a bright yellow bat, freshman from Appleton, Wisconsin, steps out of the box to take a few practice swings and now begins to dig back into the left-hand side. Quirum is ready atop the mound. He comes into the set position. The 0-1 pitch misses outside for a ball. It's 1-1. Jared Krominga is on deck. If anybody reaches, it'll be Josh Kruger. Quirum's 1-1. Fouled back off the net. It's 1-2. Righty pitcher, lefty batter. The 1-2 offering. Ground ball to first base. Hugging the line, it stays fair. Anthony Farron drops down to one knee to field it, and he steps on the base for out number 2. J.J. Brennan advances to third on the play. It's the first time today that the Eagles have had a man make it as far as third base. But he's still 90 feet away from breaking up the shutout, and with 2 outs, all Quirum needs to do here in the 8th inning to put another 0 on the board is retire Jared Krominga. Easier said than done. Krominga, 290 hitter, takes strike 1. He's 0 for 3 today, 2 strikeouts and a flyout. Rung up on it. What he thought was a check swing back in the 6th inning. Ball outside, it's 1-1. J.J. Brennan's the man at third base. Brennan entered play today with only 3 hits all season and no extra base hits. But his double so far has given the Saints the biggest threat to the shutout. There's a ground ball to third hit by Krominga. Wolf has it. The throw to first is in time, and the inning is over. Quirum pitches around the leadoff double, and through 8, his shutout is intact. We head to the bottom of the inning. One last chance for the Saints to put some insurance on the board. It's 5-0. Adam Cebulka leads off the bottom of the 8th for St. Francis, who leads Judson 5-0. Cebulka, Peterson, Harper are the scheduled hitters. And Cebulka takes ball 1 from Evan LeBeau, still on the mound. This is potentially the last offensive inning of the game for St. Francis. Ball low and away, 2-0, meaning that if LeBeau does get through it, it would put him in line for his 2nd complete game of the season. However, if he does get through this inning, he would like to force a 9th. Strike called over the outside corner, 2-1. Not that LeBeau himself has any say in the matter, but the offense would need at least 5 runs to bring the Saints back up in the bottom of the 9th. Swing and a miss from Cebulka, 2-2. Adam Cebulka had a big hit back in the first inning, an RBI double that made the score 3-0 at the time. Since then, he's grounded out to third and popped out to second. 5-0 St. Francis. They've out-hit Judson 11-5. Swing and a miss, strike 3. LeBeau's got his 4th strikeout of the ball game. He has struck out the bottom of the order once apiece, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Not in that order. Cebulka, the number 6 hitter, the 4th man to go down. And now it's John Peterson's turn up. Peterson is 1 for 3. He struck out and popped out in his first 2 at-bats, but in the 6th came up with one of the bigger hits as he comes up with another one right here. A line drive into center field, played on 1 hop by Dane Frederick. Peterson is 2 for 4 as he comes up with his 2nd single of the afternoon. He had a 2-run base hit back in the 6th, scoring both Anthony Farron and Jonathan Wolf. That broke open what had been a 3-0 game, made it 5-0. And it put St. Francis in a fairly comfortable position considering how well Michael Querim has been today. Here's Sean Harper. Harper lines it to the right side. The catch is made by Adam Zaratsky for out number 2. Zaratsky looked back to first to see about doubling up Peterson, but elected not to make a throw. Peterson read that ball pretty well and got back to the bag in a hurry. There's Bailey Schultz. That was very similar to the last ball that Harper hit, which went just over the head of Zaratsky and turned into a base hit. This one hit to the same spot on the field, but just a little bit lower, so Zaratsky was able to make the grab. Bailey Schultz swings through the first pitch for strike 1. Schultz is 0 for 3. He has struck out twice and flown to left. He takes a called strike over the inside corner, and he's in an 0-2 hole. Travis Schoonover waiting on deck, hoping for a chance here in the 8th inning. But LeBeau is 1 strike away from sending us into the 9th. Ball up and in. It's 1-2. Ninth inning will feature the 3, 4, and 5 batters for Judson. All the more reason the Saints would like to add on here. As Schultz fouls it off to the left side, still 1-2. Kruger, Meyer, McLennan are due up for the Eagles, but keep in mind they'll need at least 5 runs, meaning they're going to need to bring just about everybody to the plate to have any shot. 1-2 offering to Schultz, in there for strike 3. Schultz goes down looking. It's the 2nd strikeout of the inning for LeBeau, and he's made it through 8 innings pretty strong. Only 3 earned runs allowed by the junior from Jacobs High School for Judson. However, we go to the 9th inning with the St. Francis Fighting Saints in command. It's 5-0, 3 outs away from victory. Josh Kruger, Matt Meyer, and Alec McLennan Due up for Judson in the 9th inning as they trail the Fighting Saints 5-0. Michael Quirum back to work, and his first pitch is smacked out to left field for a base hit. Kruger reaches base for the 2nd time. He leads off the 9th inning with a single, just as he did in the 7th. In the 7th inning, he was stranded at second base. Quirum would prefer to strand him at first here, but any sort of stranding is a fine result as far as he's concerned as he looks for the complete game victory. First pitch swinging, Meyer lofts it into shallow left field. Sean Harper comes in. Harper gets to the spot and makes the catch. 1 away. 2 pitches into the 9th inning, a very quick start, and that's been the theme of the game. Judson's hitters have been very aggressive against Quirum, and that's kind of the way you have to be against Quirum. He's such a good strike thrower. There's no reason to just stand in the box and fall behind 0-1, 0-2. You see a pitch early on in the sequence, you think you can get a hit, you might as well jump on it. Judson just hasn't been able to make consistent, solid contact against him. And so there's 1 out in the 9th inning. They're still looking for their first run. The batter is Alec McLennan, who takes ball 1 outside. McLennan is 1 for 3. He singled in the 7th inning. 6 hits in the contest now for Judson. 4 of them have come within the last 3 innings. Awkward swing and a miss. 1-1. McLennan out in front of a breaker there. Through 6 innings, Quirum had allowed only 2 base runners. He had retired 10 in a row going into the start of the 7th. Ever since the start of that 7th inning, he's run into some trouble, but has not succumbed to it as he hits the outside corner for strike 2 on McLennan. The Eagles have stranded runners in scoring position in each of the last 2 innings. A team that is averaging over 6 runs per game on the season is 2 outs away from being shut out as McLennan flies it into center field. Stepping in Schultz, he makes the catch. 2 down. Quirum trying to finish off the first shutout of the season for the St. Francis pitching staff, and that's not just individually. They don't have a team shutout yet this year either, but they are 1 out away from their first shutout victory and their 6th consecutive victory. Angel Torres is 1 for 3 with a double, and Torres fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. I focused a lot on the offense during the recently completed 3-game sweep of Indiana South Bend, as the Saints scored 29 runs in 3 games. Offense has been stout again today, another 5-run performance, their 6th in a row. But the pitching has really been good too, as Torres fouls it away to the right side, strike 2. IUSB was held to 4 total runs in those 3 games over the weekend, but that's a struggling offense that South Bend has got. Judson's offense was on fire coming into today, and they have been shut down by Quirum, who's 1 strike away from finishing it off. Torres is able to lay off a breaking ball outside. It's 1-2. 5-0 St. Francis in the 9th inning. 1-2 on Torres with a runner at first and 2 outs. Quirum trying to finish off the shutout. And he does. Strike 3 called over the outside corner. Torres takes a fastball. Couldn't take the bat off his shoulder. And a brilliant performance today from Michael Quirum. Ends with a complete game shutout. The Saints beat the Judson Eagles 5-0 in just about an hour and 40 minutes. A quick one today, and that's the way it goes when your pitcher is as good as Quirum was today. And some credit to Evan LeBeau as well of Judson. He pitched pretty well today too, certainly better than the overall numbers would suggest. But today is a day that belonged to the Fighting Saints senior right-hander. One of the better games, maybe the best game that Quirum has pitched in his time at St. Francis, and certainly the best game pitched by any Fighting Saint this year. It's the first complete game shutout for any other pitchers. It's the first shutout win for the Saints as a team in 2019, and it is their 6th consecutive victory overall as they improved to 6-0 in conference. All 6 of those wins during the streak have come in CCAC play, and that's exactly what you want to see from a team that struggled out of the gate in non-conference season. You don't like to struggle at any point, but at the end of the day, that's okay. As long as you're able to turn it on for the start of conference season, that's what you want to see as a manager, and I'm sure Brian Mahalick's got to be thrilled with the way his team is playing right now. 6 consecutive victories, all of them at home, and they've got 6 more games to go on this homestand before they have to travel to Robert Morris at the end of the month. This is a game that, for all intents and purposes, was over after 1 inning. St. Francis scored 3 in the bottom of the first. Schoonover, Krob, and Lesota each came up with singles. Lesota's scored Schoonover to make it 1-0, and we didn't know it at the time, but that was enough to win the game. They added a few more, though, in the inning. Anthony Farron reached on an error that scored Krob from third base. It was 2-0, and then Adam Cebulka's RBI double later in the inning made it a 3-0 score in favor of the Fighting Saints. And then the pitchers dominated from there. Through the first 6 innings, only 2 base runners were allowed by Quirham. He retired 10 in a row at one point, never allowed more than 1 base runner at a time. And Evan LeBeau was just about as good between innings 2 and 5. He pitched 1, 2, 3 innings in the 4th and 5th. He had retired 8 consecutive batters at one point, and he only allowed 2 base runners over that 4-inning stretch. However, in the 6th, the Saints got to him again. Back-to-back doubles from Farron and Wolf put runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out. And then with 1 out in the inning, John Peterson came up with the essentially game-clinching hit, a 2-run single to center field that scored both Farron and Wolf and made it a 5-0 score. That was the end of the scoring for the ball game, as Quirham, who started to fade just a little bit over the last few innings, gave up leadoff hits in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, but stranded 5 total runners over those 3 innings, as he was able to settle down in each of those 3 frames and put zeros on the scoreboard consistently to wrap up this victory today. With the win, St. Francis improves to 10-11 on the season with 6 consecutive wins. They are 6-0 in conference. With the loss, Judson falls to 6-13. They are now 1-1 in conference play this year. Saints are back at it later this week as they continue a 12-game home stretch. They will play a non-conference game. In fact, their next 4 games will all be non-conference. They take on Purdue Northwest at 3 o'clock p.m. Same start time as today, same place. 2 days from now, 3 o'clock against Purdue Northwest here at Slammer Stadium. We'll have the broadcast for you, as always, on the St. Francis YouTube and Facebook pages. You can always find those through GoFightingSaints.com. Judson will host St. Francis in a doubleheader on April 10th, so they'll get their chance at revenge. The Fighting Saints will get a chance at a season sweep of Judson, or at least a season series victory by taking at least one of those 2 games on April 10th. But again, 6 more games in a row at home before they even have to think about traveling anywhere. That includes contests coming up on Saturday and Sunday later this week. But the next one is Thursday against Purdue Northwest, 3 o'clock. I'll be here. Hopefully you will as well. Today, our final score, St. Francis 5, Judson 0. That's going to do it for our broadcast of this one. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves. Until Thursday, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Have a good night.